Attendance grade. The student's class grade is calculated based on the weights of that class. The class's weights can be found in each class's weight page. Select Classes from the main menu. Then select the class from the appropriate year and semester. Then select the class menu, Weights. You can set the weights for each class individually, and decide how attendance will impact that class's final grade. For more information on the other weights categories, tests, homework and projects, and trackers, see the appropriate help tutorials in the class grades section. You can set the attendance to have no impact at all on the class grade. This can be done in two ways. In the first way, attendance will be mandatory, but the attendance weight will be 0, and will therefore have no effect on the final grade of the class. Set the attendance weight to 0, and the other categories to 100. Attendance will still be taken as usual, but it will have no effect on the class grade. You can also make the attendance voluntary. A voluntary attendance is indicated by the notification at the top of the Take Attendance page. To set the attendance to voluntary, go to the Class Settings page. Scroll down to the Grading section. Set the class type to either No Attendance on Transcript, or No Attendance Not on Transcript. Select Save to save your changes. You can also set the attendance to be voluntary, with an impact on the class grade. Set the class type to either No Attendance on Transcript, or No Attendance Not on Transcript. Then go to the class's weights page, and enter the desired attendance weight. The impact on the grade will depend on the attendance weight, but in this case, only if the student attends the lesson. If they miss the lesson, it won't count against them. A voluntary attendance is indicated by the notification at the top of the Take Attendance page. Please note, if the student is late to a class with voluntary attendance, the late status may have a negative effect on their grade, and it may be better to only use the present status for this class. You can also set attendance to work with a point deduction system. In this case, attendance is mandatory, and students are penalized for absences. Go to the Classes Settings page. Scroll down to the Grading section. Set the class type to either Attendance on Transcript, or Attendance Not on Transcript. Then, toggle on the point deduction system. You can set a threshold of how many lessons are allowed to be missed without being penalized. If none, set it to 0. Then set the number of points to be deducted for each additional missed lesson. Select Save to save your changes. Then go to the Weights page. You will notice that the weight field for attendance is hidden. This is because the point deduction system is being used. If the class grade is based only on attendance, set all of the other categories to 0. In this case, the points will be deducted as follows. The student will start with a class grade of 100, and the points will be deducted from the 100. If the class grade will be based on some other categories, those category weights should add up to 100. In this case, the points will be deducted from the average score of those categories. Attendance could also impact the class grade, based on the attendance score. The attendance score is calculated based on the percentage of attendances and the value of each attendance type. It then impacts the grade, based on the attendance weight entered here. Go to the Classes Settings page. Scroll down to the Grading section. Set the class type to either Attendance on Transcript, or Attendance Not on Transcript. And make sure that the point deduction system is toggled off. Then go to the Weights page, and set the desired weight for the attendance. If the class grade is based only on attendance, set attendance to 100, and all of the other categories to 0. If the class grade will be based on some other categories, all the category weights should add up to 100. The attendance score is calculated based on the percentage of attendances and the value of each attendance type. A present will give the student full credit for that lesson, and is equal to 100%. An absent will give the student no credit, and is equal to 0%. A late equals the value of the late grade. This could be the global late grade that the school uses, or the late grade that the class uses. You can set the value of the late grade for each class. This can be done in the Class Settings page. Select the Class menu, Settings. In the Grading section, enter the desired late value, in the Late Grade field. If no value is entered, the global late value will be used. You can see the global late value, under the Late Grade field. The class late grade will override the global late grade. The global late grade can also be changed. Select the main menu, Settings. Select the Settings menu, Grades. Enter the desired late value in the Late Grade field. The excused status exempts the student from the lesson. An exempt lesson does not affect the student's grade. It's as if the lesson didn't exist. Meaning, the lesson will not be used when calculating the attendance grade. Vacations, like exemptions, do not affect the student's grade, and are not used in calculating the attendance grade. For example, if the class is based only on attendance, set the weight for attendance to 100, and set the rest of the categories to 0. In this example we will use a class that has 10 lessons. In the first scenario, if out of 10 lessons, the student was present all 10 times, they will receive 100 for each lesson, for a total of 1,000. The total points will be divided by the number of lessons, in this case, 10, resulting in an attendance score of 100. The class grade will then be calculated, based on the weights, and in this case, 100% of the grade is made up of attendance, so their class grade will be 100. In the second scenario the student was present 9 out of 10 times, and absent, 1 time. They will receive 100 for each present, and none for the absence, for a total of 900. The total will then be divided by the number of lessons, and in this case is still considered 10 lessons, resulting in an attendance score of 90, and a class grade of 90. In the third scenario the student was present 9 out of 10 times, and late, 1 time. They will receive 100 for each present, and the late grade value, for the late. In this case, the late grade is set to 65, so the total will be 965. The total is then divided by the number of lessons, and in this case is still considered 10 lessons, resulting in an attendance score of 96.5, and a class grade of 96.5. In the last scenario the student was present 8 times, but was exempt twice, once as an excused absence, and once as a vacation. They will receive 100 for each present, but they will not get anything for the excused lessons. Their total will only be 800, but the difference is, that unlike the previous cases, here the excused lessons are not calculated into the grade, it's as if they didn't exist. The total will be divided by the number of lessons, which in this case will only be 8, so that they will still get a perfect score of 100, and a class grade of 100. For detailed instructions on how to view attendance grades via reports, see the appropriate help tutorials, in the Reports section.